It's a heartbreaking day for the military community. We now know the name and the face of the Navy SEAL candidate who died Friday. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes. 24-year-old Kyle Mullen was from New Jersey and was just finishing up the grueling part of training known as Hell Week. CBS 8's Regina Ureta is joining us live from Coronado with the latest on this tragic story.
That's right. I'm right outside of the Navy base here in Coronado, where officials say Kyle Mullen was not actively training at the time of his death. In fact, he completed the grueling Hell Week training successfully and afterwards started to experience some kind of illness. Yesterday, the Navy released a statement saying Mullen and another candidate had fallen ill after training on Friday and were rushed to the hospital. Mullen later died at Sharp Coronado Hospital, and that death has left not only the families, friends, but the entire Navy community heartbroken. So this is what we know about 24-year-old Mullen so far. Before entering the Navy, Mullen attended Yale, where he was a star football player. His senior year, he was named the team's captain, but he withdrew from the university before the season started. According to articles written by the Daily Yale News, Mullen was facing sexual misconduct allegations, but because he left the case was never adjudicated by the on-campus committee investigating the allegations. Mullen was also never charged with a crime. Mullen then took his athletic talents and turned them toward serving his country. That's where we fast forward to this week, where he was in process of becoming one of the nation's elite. Now, Paul Anderson, he's a Navy veteran. He served 27 years and trained right here in Coronado. We asked him to describe what this SEAL training consists of. Listen to what he had to say.
First phase is simply a gut check. So it's to try and see who has, I guess, the strength and the willpower to continue with the training and what really wants to be there. So during that whole week, students average about 4 hours of sleep throughout the entire week. You're wet, you're sandy.
Now, Anderson also adds that during that week of training, Navy candidates are checked by a physician daily. Still, this is a tragic event, and many on social media, some family, friends, and thankful Americans all shared their thoughts and prayers towards Mullen. Julissa Perez, she's a family friend and whose son was best friends with Kyle and played football with him in high school, spoke with CBS 8 via Facebook and says, quote, "The news of Kyle is one that has hit home hard and has shaken our community. Kyle was an exceptional young man who touched the hearts of many. Right now, me, my son, and all who've seen him grown are heartbroken and praying for his family." Now, back here live, the Navy community, as I said, as well as the family, are all mourning over the loss of Kyle Mullen. And as I mentioned earlier, Kyle was not the only one rushed to the hospital because of experiencing some kind of illness. Another SEAL candidate also experienced illness. They were taken to the Naval Medical Center, San Diego and Balboa Park, and remains in treatment. We also reached out to the Navy to ask what symptoms exactly were they experiencing, and of course a status on that second candidate, but we have yet to hear back. Reporting live in Coronado for CBS 8, I'm Regina Ureta.
And we definitely hope that second candidate makes a full recovery. Regina, thank you. And for the very latest on this developing story, follow CBS 8 online, on the app, and social media. You can also join us for more on CBS 8 News Live at 6:30. All right, switching gears now, we're going to check on our weather because it was very dry out there, also warm, and get ready because it's about to get downright hot.
And it's only still February. Meteorologist Sean Stiles is here with a first look at that microclimate forecast. Hey, Sean.
Good evening to the both of you. Yeah, we have an exceptional Santa Ana building in the sense that it is going to get even stronger, and wind conditions and heat is also going to rise over the next 3 or 4 days. They've already gone ahead, the National Weather Service, and issued a high wind warning up in the Los Angeles area. That gets going basically in about 45 minutes, and that will last through Monday. And then the same for the folks in San Diego and Orange County into Riverside County. We've got ourselves a wind advisory. I expect a lot to be changing with this as this high pressure builds in over the next couple days. Look at these temperatures right now. We're talking 74 in Alpine, 73 in El Cajon. Right now, these are not daytime highs, and we expect it to only get even warmer over the next couple days, and humidities are bone dry out there. We're talking 10%, 13% in Ramona, 16% in El Cajon, out to the coastline, 15 to 20%. So tomorrow, well above average. Same on Tuesday, but boy, look at Wednesday. It really warms up in the inland microclimates very quickly. So by the time we get to Wednesday, we're talking about 85 degrees. I'll show you the winds, which are going to be tremendous, coming up in just a bit.
SDGE ramped up their prices, and now customers are amped up. So why are electricity prices in our county higher than other parts of the states? In some cases, much higher. A local engineer points to a $3 billion project in the East County. We've done several stories on this over the years. SDGE spending $3 billion hardening their system in the backcountry to prevent fires. They've replaced wood poles with steel and buried lines underground. And while SDGE is proud of their efforts, not everyone is excited about it.
Poles don't cause the fires. It's the wires that hit each other and touch tree limbs and that type of thing.
Bill Powers is an engineer with power system experience.
There's other switching control hardware here.
He calls SDGE's $3 billion project a boondoggle.
$3 billion. There's 30,000 meters out there. I mean, anyone can do the math and go, my God, that's so much money per customer.
Powers says what SDGE should have done is given everyone in the Far East County a solar system.
Over there. And that's our grid connection.
That way, when the winds kick up, the power company could shut off the electricity through its wires and everyone would still have power. And he adds it would have been a lot cheaper. We reached out to SDGE today, but we're told because it's a Sunday, they had no one available to comment. But earlier this week, they told CBS 8 that since the hardening of their lines after the 2007 wildfires, which were started by their power lines, the utility has not been responsible for igniting any fires.
Sure, it's to protect us. But if you have those 30,000 customers put these systems on, we're just as protected. In fact, we're more protected because then the utility can shut that system off whenever the slightest breeze occurs, and the customers will never know it.
Powers says the reason SDGE went the more expensive route is because capital improvement projects can be passed on to customers.
The ratepayers are going to pay for all of this, but the shareholders are going to benefit from it because profit comes out of these types of projects.
Powers' advice, keep the pressure on SDGE and hound your elected state leaders to let them know this is not acceptable.
It's good that, especially in San Diego, people are up in arms, because if you don't like what's going on now, you better strap on your seatbelt, because it's going to get a whole lot more expensive very quickly.
You can also send SDGE feedback about the rate hike. Just text the word AMPed to 858-571-8888, and we'll take you straight to the form you need. You will also get our stories about the rate hikes.
A proposed pumped hydro energy facility is in the works at the San Vicente Reservoir. If built, it could produce enough electricity to power tens of thousands of Southern California households. But a backcountry conservation group is already against the idea. CBS 8's Ariana Cohen went to Ramona to find out why they're opposed.
The city of San Diego and the San Diego County Water Authority are planning to develop the San Vicente Energy Storage Facility project. The proposed hydro energy storage facility at the San Vicente Reservoir could generate enough energy for about 135,000 households. How it works is the project would create a small upper reservoir above the existing city-owned San Vicente Reservoir. They'd be connected by a tunnel system and an underground powerhouse. Water from the bottom would then be pumped up to the smaller reservoir where it'd be stored and eventually released back downwards, generating electricity. The estimated cost, $1.5 billion, a figure some can't get behind.
Who's going to be stuck with this $1.5 billion cost? We're absolutely gobsmacked that they would think that this would be possible here.
Diane Conklin started the Mussey Grade Road Alliance, a conservation group based in Ramona.
The issue is putting industrial site on 2 preserves. That is a terrible precedent to set, and it's the wrong thing to do.
However, supporters say it will bring more jobs and revenue, plus provide an essential energy resource to avoid power outages. Pumped hydroelectricity projects are gaining momentum in California because of their ability to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Last week, the Water Authority's Board of Directors announced a new contract to perform environmental work needed on the project.
It's important to preserve this land because under California law, it is preserved. It has been paid for by the taxpayers of California to let us run over you to make money. It seems insane.
The process is expected to be lengthy. If approved, it won't be completed until 2030. Ariana Cohen, CBS 8.